everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the beginnings of codependency, how this begins, what really goes on, and what we can do about it now to really self-partner and come back to self. Watch this video. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. If you're new, please click the little subscribe button and the bell to receive new videos when I release them. And if you've been with me for a while, thank you so much and welcome back. Today, it's such an important topic. We talk about codependency a lot. We talk about high sensitivity a lot. But I have this really young client I was working with last week that I've been seeing for a couple of years now, and she's really getting a hold of all the things that had happened in her life to create these patterns of codependent behavior. And I think it's really amazing, especially when young people can understand that it's not your fault you feel this way and there was nothing you could really do about it. This was your conditioning. This was the programming. And it's a hard thing because it creates anger, because that anger is the cover emotion for powerlessness. So often we're powerless to the behaviors of our parents who are also codependent or could be narcissistic or could just be emotionally immature, that create these dynamics with us as kids. And one of the most common feelings or sensations we have since we're even before the age of 5 is that it's not safe to be who I am, or that my identity must come from what other people think of me. This is what her and I were talking about this week. She said, I have this still to this day, this overwhelming feeling like who I am is completely dependent on how others see me or what their opinion of me is. And I'm like, wow, it's not your fault. And she knows that's wrong and she doesn't like it. But she doesn't know what to do with this pattern because it feels very strong. And she doesn't know where it came from or how to get rid of it. And I said, well, that's easy. Let me ask you a couple questions. Did your parent disapprove of you if you didn't share the same opinion as them? Yes. Did your parent punish you if you had negative emotion? Yes. Did your parent blame you if something went wrong that created that negative emotion for you? Yes. Did you feel like you were taking care of one of your parents' emotions? Yes. Did you feel as though you wouldn't be acknowledged unless you were doing something, let's say, positive? Yes. Do you feel like your achievements were really more of who you were rather than your feelings? Yes. There's so many more of these things. This was just our session this week, but this builds up sometimes resentment not only for a parent but for self. It also makes you feel as though you are not allowed to be in your power or be yourself, which is where the shadow work comes in for us. This makes you feel like you have to neglect what you really feel to please others so that you can have a sense of self. Oftentimes, if you are not lining up with what your parent thinks is right or what validates them, they make who you really are feel wrong. You're wrong for being who you are. You're wrong for doing what you're doing. You're wrong for behaving the way you're behaving. And as kids, we think my behavior is who I am because I'm behaving this way due to how I feel. So my feelings must be wrong, so I can't trust myself. So now I have to be dependent on undependable people again. And what's the definition of codependency? One of the definitions that I like is I'm dependent on undependable people. Because we don't think we're capable of taking care of our own needs because we're never allowed to get our needs taken care of in a certain way. They weren't getting taken care of. The needs that were getting taken care of were those false self needs that we had to become to be liked, right? But our real needs, our emotional needs that we were having were being denied, neglected, and said they were wrong, bad, and shamed. So of course we grow up thinking that we can't take care of our own needs, therefore take care of our own self. So we need someone else to do that for us because we were taught that it's not even safe to be ourselves. It's not even safe to have those needs. So we never were trained, I hate to say it, but kind of trained or nurtured into understanding that our needs are valid and deserve to be met. Therefore, we learn how to meet our own needs. This isn't taught when you're in a codependent household because the parent who's codependent wants you to be dependent on them. So you are conditioned into thinking you cannot take care of those things on your own. You need me to do that, and you need to please me in order for me to do that. Do you see that scary dynamic? It's scary Because what happens is we grow up and we get in relationships with people with addiction and things that are not dependable, make them not dependable, or narcissistic or other codependent type people. And what it really is saying is it's scary to try to meet your own needs. You need me. You need somebody else. You need a substance. You need a person. You need status, whatever it is that codependent people get dependent on. Many, many, many different things become our false idols and our false gods until we come back to the God within, which is minding our wise guide inside, remembering how to do this. So I have 4 little steps for you, if this is you, that I actually wrote down for her that I want to share with you. Number 1, self-partnering with your inner child every single morning. This could mean mirror work. This could mean how do I feel? That was one of my favorite things when I was doing inner child work many, many years ago. I would have an inner child journal, and you can get creative with this. And every single morning I'd check in with her. And after a while, I got so excited to do that because I was like, oh, I get to check in with how I feel and validate how I feel before I worry about the world or anyone else. And that's how children should be treated. Let's check in with how you feel every day. But that's not what happens because everybody's worried about their own feelings, right? It's life. That's what happens. Not right. That's what happens. So first thing, check in, self-partner with inner child every single day. Come with me today. I'm going to go to the store. You want to come with me? It's literally that much acknowledgement is needed. Number 2, check in with your feelings randomly throughout the day. Gosh, what happened? Did something happen that upset me? Sometimes we just freeze in our body and our emotions get stuck in our body and we don't check in. What is going on? Can I relax? Did I pick something up? Am I projecting? Did I get projected onto? Check in with those feelings as much as you can throughout the day just to see where you're at and to say, I care about how you feel. Self-partnering, number 2. Number 3, neutral observer of other people's opinions. Codependent people love to know what other people are thinking about them. But what's funny is when you start to heal from codependency, you could care less because you know how you feel about you. And you're like, oh, does that match up with me? Nope, neutral observer. What that means is you'll have a feeling come up around someone's opinion or something that happened or didn't happen. And you get to step back and watch that feeling instead of attaching to it and then reacting from it. You get to observe it and then respond. And I found so much power in this when I was going through all this stuff because I remember watching things happen, noticing my feeling, noticing that I can have a different feeling if I feel like it, and seeing how that initial reaction is the conditioned response, but it's not the truth of how you really feel a lot of the time. So if you start really getting in your body and in touch with how you feel, and you notice how other people are reacting to you, and it bothers you, because it bothers you until it doesn't, you'll be like, why does that bother me? Why do I really give them that much power? Why do I care that much? I have an identity, right? When you're codependent, you don't have an identity unless other people are validating it, external. But when you start to heal and you become sovereign, you become autonomous, you don't need that to have an identity. You're like, I am who I am regardless of you. That's the healing of codependency. When you're codependent, who I am is dependent on you. When you're not codependent, who I am is me regardless of you. I am who I am regardless of you. My video is doing that weird thing again, so I'm going to try not to move. So that was the 3rd step. The 4th step is write out how you saw the day. This is a perception check. A lot of people with codependency or patterns of that don't trust their own perception or themselves. So we're going to perception check. What did happen today? How did I feel about that? Okay, owning my perception. So those 4 little steps will help you shift back into you on a regular basis. You got to do it regularly. You got to do it as a daily practice. Nothing happens overnight. It does take work, but it is really good work because as soon as you start doing it, you start to see a change. So I just want to leave you with that today. It's not your fault that you have codependent tendencies, or maybe you're codependent. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to heal, and there is ways to do it, and I believe that you are almost free. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Please share with one person, at least one person who you think who needs to hear this today. And please check the links below. We are closing enrollment for my 12-week programs very, very soon. So if you want to jump in, check below. And I hope you guys have a great week.